So what exactly is capital gains? Capital gains is the profits that you will be taxed on in real estate. But boop, 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 there's a difference between primary single, primary married, and investments. Okay, so basically, I'm actually writing this out as we speak, and I'm going to literally read to you what I wrote. Two types of capital gains: short-term capital gains, long-term capital gains, right? So what about selling your main home? If you're single, you can exclude up to $250,000 of profit. And if you're married, you can exclude $500,000 of profit. As long as you lived 2 out of the 5 years, if you owned it 2 of the 5 years. So you have to live there more than 2 years. So I'm going to talk about investment in a minute. So let's break it down easily. You're single and you bought your house for $100,000 and you're selling it for $300,000. You're single. You made $200,000 profit. You didn't exceed the $250,000, so you will not have capital gains. But wait, before I go further, always talk to your accountant. Always talk to your accountant. Even though I'm doing these videos for you, I am not an accountant. I'm a phenomenal real estate agent that does very well and sells lots of homes and does all these amazing videos. But I always know to slow my roll and say, talk to an accountant. Just like if I'm doing anything about contracts or whatnot, I'll say, talk to an attorney. So now you're married. Let's say you're married and you buy a house for $100,000 and you sell it for $500,000 and you made $400,000. It did not exceed the $500,000, for there will be no capital gains as long as you live there for X amount. Now, I'm going to go do a whole different video on 1031 exchange. But investment properties, does not matter how long you live there for. If you buy a property, keep it as a rental. You bought it for $100,000. You're single, married, doesn't matter. You sold it for $200,000, $300,000, doesn't matter. You will get taxed on the profit that you made. Now, hold on. Is there any write-offs? What about all the money that you put into the house? What about all the upgrades? What about all the investments into? That is why your accountant is there for you, or this is why your accountant is there for you, so you can go over with them. Hey, can I write this off? Can I write this off? Right? Can I write this off? Can I write off the rent? I am just giving you the basis, right? Because when people Google or ask questions, I want to, for lack of a better word, dumb it down and just go over it with you. So you're saying, well, how do I avoid the tax if I buy an investment? And that's what a 1031 exchange is. And I'll make it quick and I'll do a separate video on this. When you sell an investment property, you can take the money and roll it into another investment. I believe it's 6 months, but it's called a 1031 exchange. That money will go into a title company and you have X amount of time to find another property and roll it in there. There are some absolute savvy investors out there. There are people that know so much, and I want them to comment because I am never going to sit here and say, I know everything. I'm the smartest person, because I'm not. I don't know everything. I love to learn. I love to hear things. Sometimes I'll talk to people, like I'll give you an example. You guys can answer this for me. I could probably look it up, but you can answer for me. I've heard one investor and an accountant say, if you sell an investment property, you can put it into a REIT and you can protect yourself from capital gains. And then I heard someone else say, absolutely not. You can't do that. And see, that's the issue, right? It's because you'll have a professional, somebody knows what they're doing, say this, and then somebody else will be like, no, you can't. And this is why it's hard for a lot of people out there to be like, I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to get the best education I can, but they're hearing so many different avenues. And this is why it's important to really, really do your due diligence. You know, make sure that you hire or whoever, or you follow people that really know what they're doing. When it comes to an accountant, you really want to make sure that you're working with someone that is dedicated into doing real estate, especially if you're an investor. But for primary residence, like I said, good thing is that you can, if you're thinking about selling after X amount of years, right? You could talk to your accountant about it and say, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house. This is what I'm projected to make, and talk to them if, you know, hey, if I'm going to get capital gain, can I write off X, Y, Z? So basically, that's just what capital gains is. Capital gains is the profit, the tax that you will get, the It's the money you're going to get taxed on, the profits. The profits that you will get taxed on. Easy breezy. I love doing these videos. If you guys have any questions, let me know and we can talk more.